Hey lovelies, in today's video I'll be showing you how I made these lovely trousers that you see on the screen. Please stick around and watch to the end. So you mark out your margin line of 1 inch at the top and side of your pattern paper. The next measurement you need is your hip circumference divided by 4, and you are going to take it at the length and width of your pattern paper starting from your margin line. So you take your ruler and mark it out, and it's going to form a square shape. After that, you will extend the horizontal line as you see me doing in the video. This is going to be your crotch line. From there, you are going to take your hip depth measurement. If you don't remember taking it from your client's body, all you just have to do is from your crotch line, which is this horizontal line, you just go up by 2 inches and that will give you your hip depth. Just go ahead and rule a straight line across. So I'm just going ahead to label everything out. So I'm writing hip, my crotch, so I don't get confused. So after that, we are going to get our crotch extension. For the front, the formula is hip divided by 20. Whatever you have, you are just going to tick that on your paper. From that point to your margin line, you are going to fold your tape to get the midpoint. And whatever you have, you mark it down to the length of your trouser. After that, you are just going to rule a straight line to connect everything. The next thing you will do is to mark out your knee length. So from your waist to your knee line, you're just going to mark that out and rule a straight line. So I'll be going ahead to mark out my waist measurement divided by 4, which is my waist circumference divided by 4. I do not like putting that at the front of my pant trousers. So whatever I have, I'm just going to connect it to my hip line, and from there we'll connect it to the crotch line with our curve rule. So now we'll come back to our knee line, and whatever you have as your knee circumference, you are going to divide it by 2. So let's say your knee circumference is 20, divided by 2 is going to give you 10. Now you fold your tape, that 10 inches, the midpoint of 10 is 5. You are going to place that 5 at this midline we already drew on our paper, so to give us equal measurements. I hope you understand what I'm saying. Just take a look at the video. You place your 5 at this middle line and you mark it out 5 to your left, 5 to your right, to give us the exact 10 inches. So for this pant trouser now, it's not a pencil trouser, so I did not actually take the ankle measurements. So let's say you mark out 5 inch on both sides of your knee line. All you just have to do is take out half an inch. So at your length, all you just have to do is mark out 4.5 inch on both sides of your midline. I hope you understand what I'm saying. You go ahead to connect all the lines together, and as you can see in the video, our trouser is already coming out. So if you're making a flare trouser, all you just have to do is come up from your knee line by 1.5 and slash that midline, like do the slash and spread method. So to get that pant trouser curve, all you just have to do is place your curved row and connect from your crotch extension to your initial hip line. So I'm coming down from my front by 1 inch and I'm going to connect that back to my waist. This is like to avoid any kind of excess at the front of your trouser. I'll go ahead to label it front. So another way you can use to get like the accurate curve is to place your tape from the beginning of your margin to your crotch line, get the midpoint and try to connect from your crotch extension to that midpoint. So moving on to the back, you rule out a margin of 2 inches. Me, I'm just taking my straight rule to mark out that 2 inches. So you rule it at the top of your paper and the side of your paper, just as we did in the front, but only that the back one is 2 inches instead of one. After that, you take your front pattern paper and you place that from the margin line. Mind you, that 1 inch we came down at the front, you are not going to cut that out yet. So you place it and use your paper tape to hold it in place. So now you start ruling out all the lines just to get accurate measurements. So now you rule out your crotch line, your hip line, your knee line, your length, just to get an accurate measurement. You take your tracing wheel to mark out the remaining line, which is that vertical line that we divided our hip by 4 to get. So you mark it out with your tracing wheel, just as you see me doing in the video. After that, you come to your knee line and you go out by 0.5 inch on both sides. Same with the length of your trouser. You go out by 0.5 inch and you take your ruler and rule out a straight line. So now you take out your front pattern and start redrawing all the lines. So at that vertical line at your crotch line, you go in by 1 inch, just as you see me doing in the video. You go in by 1 inch, and you go to the top part, which is your waistline. You go in by 1.5 inch. Take note of the inches I'm taking in. You go in by 1 at the crotch line, and you go in by 1.5 at the waistline, and you are going to connect that line to give you like a slanted line. So this new line is going to be what you'll be taking your measurements from. So just mark out the old line. You will not be needing that again. So now I'm just taking my crotch extension for the back and the hip measurement divided by 10. That's the formula for your back crotch extension. Your hip measurement divided by 10. So at your waistline, you go up by 1.5 inch. At that new line, you go up by 1.5 inch, and you connect it back to your margin line. You connect it back to your margin line. So now you'll be taking your dart measurement from the slanted line. So you place your tape just as the slant is. You just place your tape like that to get your dart. So meaning your dart is going to come out looking slant. But don't worry, it's fine. Go up from your hip by 2.5, and that's where you are going to end your darts. Like that's where the connection of your dart is going to end. Now take out your dart of 0.5 inch on both sides. So now from that new line, you go and take your hip measurement divided by 4 again. You know we went in, so now we have to correct everything. You take your hip circumference divided by 4, you go back to the crotch line, do the same thing, and you connect that to your waist. Go to your waist measurement, take your waist circumference divided by 4 and connect everything. You go ahead to cut out on your fabric. You had 1 inch at your inseam and 1.5 inch at your side seam and ½ inch at the rest parts. Then your hem of your trouser is 1 inch. So same for the back. The only difference is I usually put my zipper at the back of my pant trouser. So instead of having instead of adding half an inch on that part, I add 0.75 or 1 inch. Just know that when you are going to the curved part, you are going to like reduce it to give you half an inch. So I took a video of it to explain what I'm saying.